and then pick the pen up. So when we receive triangle, put the pen down, turn 30, start off this first line, turn 120, start the second line, turn 120, start the third line, then turn 90, we'll be facing straight up again. And we can now change this green flag, clicked, and just pull this off for a moment and just try broadcasting the triangle and wait. So that should draw just a triangle. Oh, but we didn't face in the right direction. So we might need to make sure that it's facing north when we start if we want it to be north. And we can do that by setting the direction. We can say point in direction 0 is up. So if we do that, then our triangle is straight up like we expected. And then we can try to do something similar to what we did before to draw our flower. We draw a flower with a square. We can do the same thing by pulling this back up and broadcasting triangle. And now we draw that way, and we can make it less repeating, 10, 36. So you get different kinds of flowers depending on how many times you loop through and how much you turn. And you can use this for drawing different flowers. You could even, of course, modify this to draw wherever you click the mouse, and then you could draw different flowers. You could add variables to let the students figure out what angle to use, or let them change it using a slider, change what angle. So this is a good start with drawing with pens and doing some interesting geometry. And of course, there's lots of good books about turtle geometry and logo. You know, you can take a look at some of those for ideas for art. I also found one of the cool things that I just learned about is processing. Do you both know about processing? So I added the link to that from this website, but it's just processing.org. And so I'm going to click on that. And this is basically Java, but in an environment that lets you get started a little earlier, and it's really aimed toward art. And so what's nice about that is I went and looked at some of their examples, like I started with their tutorial. And because it is just Java, you can see things running right in the window, basically, or you can see pictures of it. So I thought this was an interesting idea, and it's very easy to do in Scratch. So I was going to do that next. And as you can see by the code underneath it here, that's Java code, basically, but without a class. So processing is similar to Java, very much like Java syntax, but without the overhead of having to make classes. And it's much more aimed at art, creating interesting art. So I'm going to show you an example with that next. So this is using the pen to do sort of turtle graphics. And you can show the spider or hide it. I hid it at one point, so it's not been showing. We could show it again. Oops, under looks. So show it again. There's my spider again. So you can either show it or hide it so you can draw with the spider or without it. But it's still based on the spider's movement. And you can move to different locations and draw. So I'm going to start with a new one. And if you're interested in some of the things I did with this, oh, I forgot to show one of the things I was going to do, is another thing that you can do is now pull off these pieces to create when I receive and create a new kind of thing like a flower. Let's see, go to this so you can see better. So when I receive new square flower, that you would do that. And now this would change to just be broadcast square flower and wait. And as you may have noticed in Scratch, you can have tiles that are just on the side. So if I try that, now I can do square flower easily. And then, of course, I can copy this and make a new one called square triangle. Oh, not square triangle, triangle flower. And have it call, oops, this one said triangle, it should have said square. Okay, so I can say that, and now I can even put things in different places. So let's start this one at -150, and then broadcast square flower, and then go to another location, so +150, and then broadcast and wait triangle flower. And I want to point in the direction before I do it. So that draws one kind of flower there and the other time there. So you can have them go in different places. And of course you could pick with the mouse cursor where you want them as well. So that's one way you can create art with Scratch. Now I'm going to show you something like the circle. So I'm going to create a new, not save that current project because I already have an example. And one of the first things I usually do in Scratch is get rid of the cat. You can actually modify the starting setup so that it starts with something other than the cat. And I'm going to paint a new sprite. I'm going to paint a circle, and I'm going to use the outline first. So the oval tool here, the ellipse tool, click on this outline button rather than the fill button. So outline, and I'm going to start it maybe a nice pale green color. Oh no, I want black first. Because I'm doing the outline, so I want the outline to be black. So I make a little oval, and then I want to fill it with this pale green color. Okay, so that's my first circle. And then I go to costumes here, and I want to have several different colors. So I'm going to make a copy of this costume, edit it, and change that interior to this pale blue. And then copy it again, edit it, and change the interior to this pale reddish pinky color. So now I've got these 3 different costumes, and I can call them different colors, like this is green, this is blue, this is pinky red, so I'll just say pink. Pink. So now I've got a green costume, a blue costume, a pink costume, and starting with my scripts. And Brenda, one of the things that you talked about is you need to set with what you want to begin with. So always when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to be explicit about where do I want this to start at, and I can start with 0, 0 is a good place to start. And what color do I want, or what costume do I want first? So I'm going to switch to costume. I want to start with the green one. So that's part of my setup. You always do want to do your setup in Scratch. And then I'm going to forever loop, so forever. And I'm going to move this X, go to XY, but based on the mouse cursor. So under sensing is the mouse X, that's the current X position of the mouse, and mouse Y, drop that over the 0 for the Y, mouse Y. So I'm going to follow the mouse cursor, and under pen, another thing you can do is stamp, which makes a copy of the current thing that you have. So if I just do that when the green flag is clicked, now I have this nice way of making art with circles. Looks very neat and complicated. And I can stop that. And I want to be able to change, yeah, thanks. So now I want to be able to change colors to the other colors. So when in the control structure, when you hit, let's see, I have green. So when you hit G, then I'm going to set the color to green. So that'll be the green costume. Under looks, switch to costume, green. And then I'm going to copy that and change it to, when you hit V, I'll change it to the blue costume and copy that. And when you hit R, I'll change it to the red costume, or pink. Oh, I guess P then. P for pink. So each of those will switch costume, and the stamp will automatically stamp with whatever the current costume is. And one of the things we should always add when we're playing with drawings is a clear, too, when we start up, so that we clear the screen. So the green flag is clicked. We're going to start at the middle of the screen, 0, 0, switch to the green costume, clear the screen so that we don't see any of this drawing already. And then forever follow the mouse cursor and stamp. So I'm starting it off with green. I hit the B, get blue. I hit P, I get pink. I can go back to blue, go back to green, and make some cool pictures. So any questions about that? Yeah, I like that. That's fun to do, and it's pretty simple to do. Another variant on that is just making a cross in black and a cross in white. So I'm going to do that next. Brenda, are you all right, or do you have any problem with this? Give me a smiley face or a frowny face.